Can your Bazi astrology cause you anxiety, worry, and stress because you have a chart that is full of afflictions and maybe even missing elements and great imbalance? How can we remedy, or can we remedy, a challenging Bazi astrology chart? And that's what we're going to look at today. Welcome. My name is Lydia, and this is the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese Astrology channel. If this is something that speaks to you and you're interested in this topic, please subscribe and follow me so that you don't miss a single episode. And super subscribers, we love you. All right, so I have loved your comments. I'm actually a little extra sparkly today. I'm going to a girl's birthday party of all my Gaia girls, so I'm excited about that. Little extra done up today. So I love your comments, and people have been stressing, I would say, about and I can feel your stress and anxiety and totally relate to it when you know your chart, you've looked it up maybe on Bazi Hero or a Four Pillars app, and you've realized that your chart doesn't look good. But are there bad charts and are there good charts? Is there bad astrology and good astrology? I will say this. I wouldn't use the words bad or good. I would say that there are some people who have come into this life to learn a lot of lessons. And those lessons we can recognize in our Bazi astrology. Now, unlike Western astrology, Chinese astrology is all based, just like Chinese medicine and acupuncture, the 5 elements. So for my chart, if somebody were to just glance at it, would say this doesn't look like a good chart. Again, using the word good, because I'm missing wood, right? I have no wood in my chart. And as a water person, I have very little metal and I'm weak in water. My chart is very hot and dry. So what does that mean? That means that I need to seek out the balance within my chart. And we can do that. This is one of the reasons why I always say to you guys, hey, go to the description. I'm going to put a link not only to getting your own Bazi astrology chart, written or an oral report with me. I will also put a link to a previous video that I did about the 5 elements in relation to Feng Shui and health and relationships and all the things. And also a link to my blog on the Khameleon website so that you can read it, because sometimes reading it is easier. The 5 elements make up so many things. Yes, it's part of the Bagua of Feng Shui and the different directions. It has a shape. The 5 elements has shapes. It has texture. It's, like from water to earth, to metal to wood, to fire. They all feel like something, right? They have an art to them, images and design. They have colors and food, tastes. There is a smell. There are Chinese zodiac animals associated with these 5 elements, and how in the cycle of relating, they work for each other. For instance, let's say, I'll use my element. Let's say you're a yin water person, like myself, and you are missing wood. Well, you don't just say, okay, I'm going to supplant wood into my lifestyle. And I'm going to talk about this more in a second. So you're like, what? How do you bring an element into your lifestyle? Well, I'll explain. Because it doesn't have anything feeding it, So we have to bring in water as well. And bringing in water supports me in my day master, right? So it's also interesting that your career choices and the activities that you do also play a role, Okay, so I am a writer. I am a poet. I've published 4 books. You can go to Amazon and look my name up. You'll find a cookbook. You'll find a kids yoga book. Some other things I've done. A book of poetry and inspirations. It's like I can't remember these things. And speaking, being someone that talks, that's water element. But it's also important for me to spend time around wild water, which is something I don't get an opportunity to do very often, unfortunately. So whenever I get a chance, I go down to the James River, which runs through Virginia and gives me an opportunity to spend time by the water. I'm always seeking it out. So let's break down the different elements. If you know that you are missing an element, always remember to add the parent element with it, even if it's the one that's the most inflated, because it's almost like, hey, I need you to help this guy out. He's really weak and feeble over here. So I'd appreciate if I give you a little bit extra. Would you please help to feed this? It's a motivator, okay? So then the thing to recognize is if you have the parent and the missing or very weak element, one thing you don't want is the child of the missing or weak element to bring in more of that. Because then it's like, here, I'm going to give you the missing element and then I'm going to make you work, which is going to drain it all out. And then your work is useless. I will say this, as far as our career goes, I find it fascinating that often people seek out either the work that is the most needed for balance in their charts, or they further weaken themselves by being in an industry that is just reinforcing the imbalance. Okay. So many of you know that for about 20 years, I was running a business for kids yoga, teaching kids two and older in schools and daycares. And that's yoga, and the healthcare industry is an earth element. And I already told you, my chart is way too hot and dry. It is not surprising to me that after 20 years, I hit a wall of burnout. Because there just wasn't enough of the elements that I needed supporting me and my day master of water. So there's different ways and nuances to do this. So I'm going to break down the 5 elements for you. We're going to start with earth. Let's say that you have weak earth, and you are, or missing earth. You're going to want to bring in fire, okay? And the earth element is the taste that is sweet, okay? So think of sweet things like honey, like fruit, like cereals, breads, pastas, white potatoes, white rice. This does not mean junk food. Let's just clear that right there. The taste is sweet like honey. Okay. And in our body, when we have a weak element of earth, that can really go after your digestive system, your immune system, stomach, fat, muscle, the spleen. All right. So all of that. So when we have a weak or missing element, and there must be obviously then an overinflated element, it pulls on those organs of the body and leaves you more susceptible to having illnesses around those organs represented by the element. You would also want to wear earthy colors like yellow and brown and tan and peach, things like that. You might want to have a scent of musk or pine. And And as far as industry goes, you may find that you're interested in politics, working for the government, working for healthcare, like being a religious figure, yoga, massage, working with crystals. And I'm also throwing in some activities that you can do to boost up earth, like making pottery. It's a pretty obvious one. Let's see, what else was I thinking of? Sitting and meditating with crystals is one of my favorite ways to bring in the earth element also. All right, so we're going to scroll on down this happy blog that I'm looking through with you. All right, so then we're going to come to metal. Metal is the child of earth. And metal in our body, we know that to be our lungs, our nose, our hair, our large intestines, and our skin. And when metal is weak or missing, we really need to be careful about our lungs and ensuring that where we live, there is really good air quality. This is where we're going to wear colors that are very zen, black, white, and gray, and lots of bold jewelry, gold, silver. The scent is rosemary, peppermint, and lemon. Lemon's one of my favorite scents. And as far as activities, one of the things I love to do is chanting, sound healing, finance, investing. I'm going to think of things afterwards, you know, because it's like so many different jobs that we can have. But money, banking, investing, all of those good things. Photography is another one. So when we come around to water, water is all the colors of blue. All the colors of blue and purple, not violet. Don't bring in the red, bring in the blue. So those deeper, like not even plum, more like eggplant, deep purple, my favorite color. This sits in our kidneys, our sex organs, our bladder, bone, teeth, and ears. And again, you know, all of those organs, when the element is weak, when it is missing, those can be affected. The scent is honeysuckle and chamomile. And as far as industries go, water is communication, activities like or businesses that are around boating, travel, transportation, swimming, boating, things like that. Spending time by the water, meditating with water. Wood is the child of water. That one I always think makes the most sense. When wood is missing in our charts, we need to wear lots of colors of green. And obviously, remember to bring in the parent. Bring in that blue, right? The blue nourishing the wood. And with this, recognize that the organs of the body that are most affected are the liver, gallbladder, eyes, ligaments, nerves, and your mood. The food taste. Ooh, I forgot water's taste. It's salty. The wood taste, and I forgot metal's taste is spicy hot. Earth is sweet. Metal is spicy. Water is salty. Wood is sour and vinegar. Think like limes and grapes. Tart tastes like plums and grapefruit. The scent is jasmine, parsley, geranium oil, and sandalwood oil. Wood is, it's one of my favorite elements because it's gardening and it's being outside. It's grounding with your feet on the earth. It's being involved with flower growing or being a florist. It's writing, publishing, editing, and spending time outside, spending time with trees. It can also be the paper industry, the lumber industry, writing books. So we're going to come to fire. The last one is fire. Fire is the taste is bitter. And I know that a lot of people think that fire would be the spicy one, but no, that's metal. So the bitter taste of coffee or dark chocolate, apples, olives, spinach, dark leafy greens, bitter. The smell is oranges and rose oil. It's interesting. I put rose oil on today and I'm wearing the color red. Interesting. Anyway, so when we think of this, we want to wear bright, bright colors, red and orange and violet and ruby and fuchsia and bright patterns, in the body, this is the heart, the tongue, the blood, your mental health, and the small intestines. And industries are like acting, singing, fashion, celebrity, being a business owner, horseback riding, cooking, working with fire, right? Spending time by a fire or meditating with a candle flame. So you see now how there are ways of bringing, and this is how I was trained by my teacher back in 2002, Dr. Paul Yan. This is how I was trained, that balancing a chart requires a lifestyle change, that we adapt our lifestyle to support our Bazi. Now, I'm going to touch also on penalties, punishments. When we have, for instance, a rat-rabbit situation, suggesting some really strange relationships that can be harmful. When we have multiple earth animals in our zodiac, sheep, dog, ox, it can bring a lot of family drama and stress that really depletes you, like it can cause almost stress-related disease and suffering. When we have that tiger, snake, monkey penalty that speaks of lawsuits and bankruptcy and accidents and serious illness, we can start to feel really freaked out, or voids in our pillars. All of these things, friends, your Bazi is, you were born at the exact time that you contracted to be on this earth, to take that first breath at that exact moment, and to mark yourself with your Bazi astrology. And with this astrology, you walk the path of your life, making the choices that you make. And between those choices in your Bazi astrology, that is what is divined of you. And there will be sickness, and there's suffering, there's heartbreak and love, celebration and victories. It's all of life. Yes, some people have it tilted way to one side or way to the other and feels really imbalanced. Many people just are chugging along, little of this, little of that, right? Just like the slow roll of life. It's the way it's supposed to be. But some people go through long periods of suffering and struggle. Other people go through long stretches of incredible success and good fortune. Even in that, if you are so lucky as to have that, the first thing you should ask is, how do I share my good fortune with others? How am I a charitable and giving person? Not how do I hoard and hold everything that's mine. In the same way, if you have a chart that is horrible, just really challenging chart, and I've shared many celebrity charts with you, and we have seen celebrities literally crash and burn. Recognize the medicine. Recognize the medicine. Okay? Because in yoga, we call it tapas. It is accepting the difficulties and the hardships for the lessons that they teach us and how they help us to grow. Your astrology is something for you to work with, not to fear, not to give you anxiety, not to feed an ego that it's so great. It's all medicine, good, bad, or indifferent. Work with your astrology in a way in which you feel a measure of control as you live your life. Make adjustments so that you are seeing how you can manipulate your own balance or imbalance of elements to achieve the outcome you need. Maybe you feel burned out and you see your Bazi is showing that you have a weak day master. Your element is weak and what nourishes you is not strong. Then you know, these are the colors I should be wearing more. These are the foods I should be eating more. These are the activities I should bring into my life. Maybe I need a career change. I can't tell you how many people I have worked with who recognized they were at a wall with their career, couldn't figure out why, and then suddenly they made a different career choice that took them into a different element, and that shift of element gave them what they needed, and all of a sudden they're feeling so much more support and so much more energized. So in getting your Bazi astrology, these are the things that I help you to recognize in your life. How to create the balance and how to work with the astrology that you have been born with in a way that you start to feel as if you are thriving. And thriving is not wealth. We do not monetize your well-being. It has nothing to do with that. It's what makes your heart sing. And if your heart is singing, there's no greater wealth than that. So I welcome your comments and your questions, and we can begin to unpack more of this depending on what your questions are and what you would like to hear more from me. And until next time, friends, thank you so much and be well.